What is a mystic? Someone who has mastered abandon, someone who is mad for mystery, who seeks out uncertainty, who picks doubt for a dance partner. A mystic is someone who lights the candle and cries for joy, crazy in love with no one. A mystic doesn't argue about God, defend God, crusade for God. A mystic is a burning bush, a spark of the holy bonfire, the one in the corner laughing at nothing. Don't look for bruised knees, bowed heads, hands clasped, or beating breasts. Don't listen for mea culpa, talk of sin, right or wrong. If you're looking for a mystic, look in the forest, not the church. Look for someone with an apron on, with work boots and gloves. Look for someone who's pitching in, helping out, someone doing something to set the world aright. A mystic makes breakfast of the great beloved and metabolizes love all day long. Jan Phillips. This morning, I'd like to talk with you about the non-existent existence of the color magenta. This color is unique as it appears out of nowhere, springing into existence from beyond the visual spectrum. Artist Joe Hedges explained it best when he said that magenta cannot be located on the spectrum because it does not exist on the visible spectrum. Magenta does appear in nature, of course, in flowers and between the two parts of a double rainbow. Magenta is red and blue violet at once, with a complete absence of green. So, magenta is only perceived psychologically when pure red and blue light mix and green is completely absent. This speaks to me because my spiritual path is that of a being who believes in both monotheism and polytheism simultaneously. As a practicing pagan, I have been told before that I cannot believe in God while practicing magic. I have been told that I have to choose and that only one of the two paths is possible. Statements such as, "Sweetheart, you cannot be a heathen and one of God's children," have been said in different ways by many different people on multiple occasions. And each time I reply, "Of course I can. I'm right here, and I assure you I am not a mythological creature." This is because I am magenta, deep into the very depths of my Unitarian Universalist soul. In fact, all of us here are. Unitarian Universalism is the epitome of magenta. We each have different paths. It is one of the most incredible things about UU. We come together in love, supporting one another's spiritual paths, no matter each individual's destination. Standing side by side, arms linked, insisting that all paths are equal and worthy. All paths are precious. This is not something that is standard in religious or spiritual circles. It is a uniquely lovely blessing. To much of the world, we are magenta, there in the field of others' visual perception, but not perceived as real. Our open perspective lets us be fully aware of something some may not realize, that we are absolutely linked and held within an interdependent web, connecting all, affecting all. It is okay that they think I'm a mythological creature, for here, amongst all of you, I am surrounded by other amazing, fabulously magenta beings. And as I sat amongst my Mosaic and brethren this summer, listening to each thought and each story, each feeling reaching into the depths of what makes each of us so unique, I found myself struck with joy, a joy I have longed for much of my life. I found myself nestled in the warmth of love. I found myself yet again home, as I do each Sunday within the virtual walls of a safe space amongst family. It may sound a bit as if I am babbling, so let me take a moment to touch on a slight explanation of just what makes each of us separately and altogether so fabulously magenta. This beautiful color is known as representing universal harmony. It is a spiritual balance, or as author Sonia Parker writes in her article, Magenta Soul Star Chakra. Magenta is the color of the 8th chakra, the soul star, which is located just above the head. This chakra contains our Akashic records, our soul blueprint. The reference to the Akashic records here is that of a deep spiritual connection between our past, present, and future pathways in this lifetime, holding all of the possibilities of our incarnations. Our soul's purpose, if you will. As many believe that our body is but a shell for our soul, Magenta speaks volumes about a UU spiritual presence on earth. For along this line of thinking, that connection is what allows for the growth of a spiritual being. Unitarian Universalism provides a comfortable and safe path in which all are free to search for meaning, for their truth. Magenta exists vividly for us as Mosaicians because we all see it, and it conjures up feelings of peace and a deep-rooted spirituality. It combines the red of passion and the violet of serenity. It is at the very highest level that human beings are capable of. It is the epitome of a free spirit, the essential nonconformist. It is Unitarian Universalism at its very core. For what other spiritual community fully accepts all, no matter who or where they are in their spiritual path in life? While it may be true that through the vision of some I am impossible, amidst the beautiful souls with us this fine morning, I do more than exist. I flourish, encompassed in the warmth of love and acceptance that Magenta exemplifies. In fact, many of us here this morning would be perceived of as beings who are on the wrong spiritual path. However, we all know that there is no wrong path, as we all have our own unique path. Author Chris Prentice expressed it best when he wrote that each river is different, but they all eventually lead to the ocean. This search is one of the very traits that makes us so fabulously magenta. The willingness to learn, for the mind is much like a parachute, only functioning at its best when fully open. This desire to seek knowledge in all forms is a shining example of our deeply magenta ways. We journey through joy, pain, hope, and love, learning from one another, where we honor the individual's religious or spiritual path, and our only guide involves our 7 principles and UU sources. As mentioned before, this differs so very much from traditional religious paths, which generally require adherence to specifics. And that is okay, in my opinion, as long as they are not causing pain and that path is what is desired. All good. But our connection is different. For all of you, do not perceive me as a mythological creature that could not possibly exist, but rather as a soul traveling on a yet unexplored path, at times stumbling, as humans do, over the bumps in the road. In such times, I have found that it is not so much a road, but more like a river. That growth is found when I release the need to control all aspects of the flow of the water, the spiritual or intellectual current, if you will. Said growth occurs when I lay back floating. I feel the breeze, smell the flowers, and drift along in the direction the universe, the goddess, or God deems for me. Seeking balance, seeking what many in different spiritual communities would describe as a magenta aura or energy. One such example of that is from author Nicole Gooding, who describes it best in her book Entanglement, when she writes, "It has several different names already: aura, vibe, spirit, intuition, swagger." Although science has not done a great deal of research into such beliefs, societies throughout history have documented similar stances on the subject. For example, according to the website Science and Non-Duality, if you observe the composition of an atom with a microscope, you would see a small, invisible tornado-like vortex with a number of infinitely smaller energy vortexes called quarks or photons. These are what make up the structure of an atom. As you focused in closer and closer on the structure of an atom, you would see nothing. We have no physical structure. Physical things really don't have any physical structure. Atoms are made of invisible energy, not tangible matter. Though perhaps a professor of physics and astronomy at Johns Hopkins University said it more succinctly when he wrote, "Accept the inarguable conclusion, the universe is immaterial, mental, and spiritual." Although some may argue this point, others, including myself, have found that energy emanates from all living beings. In fact, many spiritual circles would suggest that a person's aura is the perfect example of this. The Journal of Traditional Chinese Medical Science describes the human body as containing both visible and invisible parts. The author goes on to write that measuring a human energy system would require tools beyond what scientists have access to today. And as one delves deeper and deeper into beliefs concerning auras and vibes, magenta shows itself as rare and unique. In such mystical circles, those with the magenta aura are deemed individuals with a gifted understanding of the world around them and are simultaneously highly intuitive thinkers. They are artists, original thinkers, and are generally unconcerned with socially acceptable patterns. And as for vibes, they are best described as the essence of what auras are made of. Or as Emma Milden, author of The Soul Searcher's Handbook, writes, our frequency or vibe is what others can sense or what attracts or repels us from others, depending upon how our frequency works with theirs. I have found that our frequencies shine through as we journey together on our liberal, all-inclusive path that allows us to work with one another to promote equity, justice, peace, and liberty. Sharing no creed, but rather supporting one another's personal paths, whether they be based in pure knowledge, spiritual, or religious journeys. Although each of our trials may differ, we nevertheless journey together, supporting one another along the way. We are fabulously magenta because we share our serenity and universal love with passion. Or to paraphrase Deptish Mirda, love is our religion, kindness is our prayer, forgiveness is our temple, and peace is our abode. I am deeply grateful that my spiritual journey led me to Mosaic's doors, to become engulfed in the love and acceptance of this wonderful community, my amazing tribe. Blessed be, and amen.